It's about that. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-bow. File print. Which one's the Lex? Is that the other printer out there? I don't know. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome. You got mail. It's a pretty good AOL voice. My next impersonation in the company I want to work on is our CEO. I haven't quite mastered it yet. The one I have down is the midday guy over at Boomer. Hey, what's going on, Nelson? You look at me the other day and he comes in and he goes, Nelson, I got a kick out of you, man. What exactly is it that you do here? I go, well, Chuck, technically I'm your program director. He goes, we need one of those around here, man. Nah, if you don't listen to Boomer Radio, is a 100% spot on, Chuck. And then there's another radio guy I used to work with in town who is like a little bit less gravelly just because he's probably 20 years younger than Chuck. And that's a guy named Skin Man. Hey, man, it's Skin Man. I'm just kind of hanging out, and he's been all over the radio, and I worked with him most recently out at the river. Skin Man, he's a big fan of Nelson's, and I'm a big fan of his. I love old Skinny. Oh, Lord. What are you going to do, though? I know, we got started late on the stream today, guys. I apologize. There were some technical difficulties. You know, it happens. Happens to the best of us. Happens to the best of us.
Picture this,
GAAA.
saving up to 10% when you bundle your home and auto insurance.
Little intense. That's a little intense. Probably not one called. I like that. That sounds really good, actually. I like the sound of that. Let's go. YTMP3. Deborah, waterworks are flowing this morning. How can you get rid of your 14-year-old dog that's blind and deaf? Surrender to a shelter. A lady makes a video and they rescue this baby a week later. He then passes at the foster's home. Rips my heart out. Oh, my God. I know, Deborah. I know. That's wild. Sounds like a TikTok I watched recently, which is just like, oh. Now, that being said, you tell me how you feel about this, Deborah. I had a dog, Odin. He was a Weimaraner, and he was 4 years old. Odin was aggressive towards men that we didn't realize until later on when he had bit my nephew a couple times. My sister was none too happy about that, let me tell you. But the problem was that the guy had allergies, okay, like a lot of them, to the point where to the point where he couldn't eat anything, even the stuff that like people who, like dogs who have allergies, the allergy-free food he didn't do. And so when it came time that we were having my son, after he had already been aggressive to young boys, we were worried that he was going to be aggressive to a family member, especially a baby. And so rather than put him down, I had him rescued. Does that make me a bad person? Because, listen, I didn't want to put him down just because he had some issues with training, which was completely my fault. I didn't do a good enough job. I wasn't prepared for a dog that was that intense. That a Weimaraner is not a first-time dog owner dog. Certainly. Anyway, I did that because I didn't want to put him down. But I also told the rescue, if someone's just going to take him and not spend the money to keep him fed correctly and take care of his allergies, and they were just going to put him down, I would rather put him down than have you put him down. Now. All right, everybody. 90 seconds until Lainey Wilson, Hang Tight Honey is over, and we are going to talk about none other than Johnny Appleseed, among other things. Among other things. Pop, pop, pa da pa da pa da pa pow. People should do their homework before getting a dog. With that said, if you can rehome to a loving home, nothing wrong with that. Yeah, and that's kind of where I was at. I learned a lesson. I learned a big lesson in that. And the only reason I got that kind of dog is because that's the kind of dog my then girlfriend / fiance and soon-to-be wife had grown up with, and that dog was about to pass. And I knew that was going to be the hardest thing that had ever happened to her. And so I went and got one because I was like, this will be a great thing. And then I just didn't do my research.
This is Nelson in the Morning on Bluffs Country 106.5.
Good morning. We are broadcasting live on the Performance Digital Cam, Facebook.com/Bluffs Country, and online at YouTube, YouTube.com/That's Just Nelson. That's the way you can find me on all social media. Reach out if you like. A story about dogs I think we're going to delve into from Deborah, a member of the Cam Collective, coming up. But first, I wanted to talk a little bit about food. Sure, the big guy wants to talk about food. Why not? So I've got a picky eater in my house. Maybe you have a picky eater, too. I've started something recently. I wish we would have gotten into it so much sooner, but God, I didn't read the blog soon enough. Called a no thank you bite. Love the no thank you bite because it's like, dude, just take one bite, my guy. Let me get one out of you. Call that a W. Put one in the W column. That's a win, by the way. And for most people, they would say, yeah, we all know that. Well, you run into people who don't realize what a W is. When somebody needs a W, a dub, that's what the no thank you bite is. But it got me thinking about like all of the things that I don't eat because I'm a very picky eater. But if I'm asked to eat something, I will try it. I can't promise I'll keep an open mind, but I'll try it. But what were the tropes growing up? What were the things that you always heard people complain about? Kids will never eat blah. Like for me, I don't want raw onion or raw tomato. In fact, I used to tell my mother I was allergic to tomato. And she goes, really? Can you explain all the ragu that's all over your face right now and how you're not breaking out? No, Mom, you don't understand. I'm only allergic to raw tomatoes. No, dummy, that's not how that works. She didn't call me dumb. She probably could have, though. But one of the things that came to mind outside of like lima beans was Brussels sprouts, right? Brussels sprouts. Gross Brussels sprouts. Who likes a Brussels sprout? I love Brussels sprouts. I've always been very happy with the fact that of all the picky eating that I do choose to be a part of, like leafy greens have never been an issue for me. So things like Brussels sprouts, cabbage, even to a degree, I don't like onion, but I like green onion. I mean, even raw, like I've been fortunate in that. But I thought about that, and you don't hear that as a trope anymore. And there's a reason. Because Brussels sprouts changed about 30 years ago. So if you're of a generation like me, an elder millennial, heck, I'm sure even a millennial and older, you remember that, like, oh, nobody wants to eat Brussels sprouts. And I didn't know that because, like, my mom didn't care for Brussels sprouts. So it's not like she was making them for me to even be exposed to them. But Brussels sprouts pre-1995 were bitter. They just didn't taste good, so people really didn't like them. No, your taste buds didn't change. Your palate does develop over time. But about 30 years ago, a Dutch scientist found the chemicals in Brussels sprouts that made them bitter. He selected seed varieties with lower levels of bitter chemicals and bred new high-yielding varieties that taste less bitter. That's why all of a sudden you see Brussels sprouts everywhere on menus. That's why they're a great appetizer. Because 30 years ago, science made Brussels sprouts better. Better tasting Brussels sprouts are not only good, they're good for you. That's not the only thing that we've had genetically modified. In fact, when I tell you this, it's going to blow your mind. There's a reason why when you bite into something that's a candy and it's banana flavored, that it doesn't taste like the banana that you know. And I'll tell you that reason in the next 8 minutes.
Fewer commercials, more country music.
I'll drink to that.
Bluffs Country 106.5.
Let's take a look at your Bluffs Country weather. Gorgeous. Take that one all the way to the bank. The rest of the week, you can expect the same. In fact, going from over 100 yesterday to just in the 70s today, we will take it. 80s, 70s, 80s, 70s, 80s, 70s. It's flipping back and forth. Coin flip on what you're going to get the next couple of days. And when I say 80, we're talking like 81. No rain in the forecast for today. Expecting a high of 77. Lows in the 60s. Maybe the upper 50s. Brisk jacket weather if you're going to get out on the porch maybe and fire up that fire pit. Currently, 65 degrees in the metro. And let's look at your weather. It's brought to you by the 712 Initiative. Inviting you to the Council Bluffs Farmers Market at Bayless Park, presented by CHI Health Mercy, Council Bluffs. It happens every Thursday, including this Thursday from 4:30 until 7:30. 76, by the way, the suspected high for this Thursday. Thanks again to the 712 Initiative for making that possible here on Bluffs Country.
Bluffs Country 106.5 is proud to partner with...
All right. Hello, Bradley. How are you? Give me 1 second, guys. I got to grab something off the printer. Hey, I'll have that for you in just a second. I'm doing well, Bradley. I appreciate you asking. Thank you. Oh, Lord. good then. I have 2 dogs that got in fights. I mean, ripping ears off. I wouldn't know what to do, but I wasn't rehoming them even if I had to keep them separate. The vet put both on Prozac. It works like a charm. No more fights. They get meds every day. I'm totally against people getting animals for whatever reason, grow tired of them, and then dumping them. No food, water, shelter, all alone, scared. Our shelters are full, totally full. Rescues are full. That's no lie, especially post-COVID. That's what I found out when I was doing this pick-a-pooch this weekend. It was post-COVID. It's like a war zone. But the only good thing coming out of that is that people who have been traditionally breeders and overbreeders are also feeling that crunch, which means that they're breeding less. So maybe that ends up being a net benefit for the pooches in our lives. Cats, pooches, but I mean more breeding happening with dogs and cats, right? I think cats are actually just born out of dirty rags, I believe. Oh, that was rats. They thought rats were born out of dirty rags. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. A lot of sacrifice on my part. If I didn't have pets, I'd be living in a condo with maid service going on cruises, but would be all alone. Would you be all alone, though? Maybe you have some, maybe there'd be some Cuban pool boy. Ready for you. Waiting. Your suite is ready, ma'am. Okay, stop that. Chippa champa, chino jump, chippa 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 champa, chino bum. Nelson. Good morning, Deb. Deb and Deborah. One of my favorite names, Deb. My mother was a Debbie. All right, let's go. Oh, okay. I gotta hear this.
Well, major development involving DeRidder's former mayor, Misty Roberts Clanton. She's been arrested for rape, allegedly involving a juvenile. The state police special victims unit interviewed 2 juveniles, including the alleged victim. Both.
Here we go. I thought you could edit in this thing. Oh, there's nothing in that channel. I gotcha. So my mom thought. Hey, Tamika, good morning. It shouldn't be. Let's try that. Better? That's got to be better. Maybe it was a little down. news. 8 a.m. news. About beach. This Look at Your News is brought to you by the Jenny Edmondson Foundation. If you attended, sponsored, or volunteered as a part of their Spirit of Courage Celebrity Weekend events, the golf tournament and the gala that happened on Saturday, the team at Jenny Edmondson Foundation would like to send out a huge thank you. Together, we can support vulnerable cancer patients in our area who need support with treatments, medications, and more. Thank you so much for supporting the health of our community. To learn more about the event, jehfoundation.org.
For Bluffs Country News, I'm Carla James. North 35th will be closed from Avenue A to...
Morning, Marsh. Sorry. Is that better? That should be... Those levels should be higher now. I got them jacked up. I got them on my jacked up 4x4. Nelson, I'm sure you have, but you talk to your kids about stranger danger. Well, a little bit. I mean, for the most part, Roman, like he doesn't have, he's not a stranger danger guy anyway. Like he's not gonna mess with you. But Penelope, I definitely have had that talk several times. Let's try this one instead. Let's try the it is one. Pow. Convert next. It's so cool out today. It's so nice. So nice. Could not be more thankful for that. Hear this.
Thanks. Developing news tonight as we cover South Louisiana. Just days after resigning from office, the mayor of
Oh my God. Hold on. Sorry, that channel is not supposed to be that hot.
Thanks. Developing news tonight as we cover South Louisiana. Just days after resigning from office, the mayor of DeRidder out in Beauregard Parish has now been arrested on rape charges. Just days after resigning from office, the mayor of DeRidder out in Beauregard Parish has now been arrested.
Come on. I thought there was a way to edit certain things.
Just Parish has now been arrested on rape charges. Just has now been arrested.
Sun is shining, beautiful day. Gonna be hot though, says Deborah down in Arkansas. It's all right. It's all right. Just making sure. I want to use your time effectively.
Here to listen to your show and organically, periodically brainstorm ideas when you have downtime.
Right, love that.
I wasn't going to be able to get here this week, so my schedule's jammed.
Oh, I bet.
So I'm like, I wanted to carve out some time to get here.
90 seconds. We're going to talk about the Cavendish banana, if you're unfamiliar, and genetic modifications. Because why not? All right. Pow, pow, pow. Papa, ooh, mow, mow. Papa, ooh, mow, 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 ooh, mow, mow. Papa, ooh,
I told you, you're not welcome here. You're not welcome anywhere. Now get the fuck out of my bar.
Just give me.
oh, my God. That's why I was asking for a Green Band trailer. Green Band, by the way, is a trailer that is clean. A Red Band trailer is a rated R trailer. Just in case you didn't know. 20 seconds.
This is Nelson in the Morning on Bluffs Country 106.5.
We are broadcasting live, facebook.com/BluffsCountry on the Performance Digital Cam. A reminder, join us Friday at 5:30 in the afternoon as we are going to give you, possibly, tickets to Thomas Rhett or Brett Young at the Iowa State Fair and all the butter you can lick off of the cow. Now, that's on you to get to the cow. We can't get you access to the cow other than what normal access to the state fair is. But, I mean, your tongue is already there. Why aren't we having some butter? 5:30, Bayless Park is where we're going to be, and who knows how long we're going to be there. So it'd be better to be there at 5:30 so you can make sure that you're in on the big Bluffs Country ticket blowout. That being said, briefly, I told you there's a reason why when you have banana-flavored candy and you go, man, this don't taste like a banana. It used to taste like a banana. And I'll tell you that reason in just about the next 30 seconds. First off, we got into this because I have a picky eater in my home, and I'm sure you have run across a picky eater if you aren't one yourself. And it got me thinking about how Brussels sprouts used to be universally hated. And why all of a sudden are they just great in the oven and put a little garlic on them and they're just delicious, right? I just figured your taste buds changed. No, Brussels sprouts changed. 30 years ago, a Dutch scientist identified the chemicals that made Brussels sprouts bitter. A lot of times you'll hear people rail against GMOs, genetically modified. Well, we've been GMOing since the dawn of vegetables, since cultivation, in learning how to breed a better vegetable, a better fruit, better legume. That's genetic engineering. That's genetic modification. Now, that's not done like with a CRISPR and gene splicing. Just the fact that when you crossbreed two things, you've genetically modified them. In fact, it was genetic modification that gave you the apples that you eat today. Did you know that? That apples don't grow from apple seeds. In an effort to make sure that apples will continue to propagate, the seed of, say, a Red Delicious, if you plant that, will not grow a Red Delicious apple. The only way you can grow a Red Delicious apple is if you take part of a tree that grows Red Delicious apples and you graft it onto another apple tree. And that will then produce the Red Delicious apple you're thinking about. In fact, this goes all the way back to the days of, Mr. Johnny Appleseed, who wasn't that great a guy, honestly. 1792, the Ohio Company of Associates gave away 100 acres of land to anyone who was willing to homestead it. And here's how this works. We want you to be on the land. We're promoting people to come over here, 1792, right? Shortly after 1776, we just beat back. Beat back. Thank you. Chose my words carefully there. We beat back the British. Now we're trying to propagate people in America, make it the greatest country, land of the free. But in order to get this free parcel of land from the Ohio Company of Associates, you had to plant 50 apple trees and 20 peach trees. So Johnny Appleseed, John Chapman, he went planting apple trees and scooped up thousands of acres for free and then turned around and sold it to settlers. But what he didn't tell them was, all I did was plant these apple seeds, man. You're not going to be able to eat these apples. Those apples were used for the production of alcohol. Before beer was the number one drink, we were a hard cider. You think hard cider's new? Nah, baby, we founded this country on hard cider. Johnny Appleseed did. In fact, by the time this guy died, he still had 1,200 acres of land. To put that in perspective, there are 84,900 farms in Iowa as of 2022, and the average farm size is 446 acres. So he died with more land than any regular farmer has anywhere that you're seeing. Old Johnny Appleseed. But how does this factor into the banana? Well, when you go to eat a piece of banana candy and you go, well, this doesn't taste like bananas, that's because it tastes like a banana known as the Gros Michel. From the 1830s to the 1960s, the Gros Michel was the banana that the world ate, affectionately called the Big Mike. Today, we eat the Cavendish banana. And the Cavendish banana was cultivated because sometime in the early 1900s, Big Mike, the de facto banana for over 100 years, was almost completely wiped out by a fungus disease called Panama disease. They scrambled in the 50s and 60s to replace the losses, and they came up with the Cavendish. Less tasty, they say, than the Gros Michel, but more resistant to Panama disease. Here's the problem. Now, in the 90s, a new strain of fungus has appeared in Taiwan and has begun destroying the Cavendish all over Southeast Asia and northern Australia. It's also been ravaged by another fungus disease called black sigatoka. And so it is only a matter of time before we move on to yet another banana. Genetic diversity is what they say. There's actually 1,000 bananas. There's a blue banana. There's an apple banana. Stout and plump and light, they say, with creamy flesh. When young, they taste tangy with notes of apples. What's an apple, then? You can't go around selling me a banana that tastes like an apple, can you? I mean, I guess you can buy, what do you call it, cotton candy grapes? Which those things still kind of freak me out. For being honest, the cotton candy grape is like, feels like a crime. So not all genetic modifications are bad. Some genetic modifications give us banana. Imagine in the 1950s, bananas just disappeared. And that not even boomers would know about them. I mean, the baby boom didn't start until after 1945. So that means your parents' parents, possibly, or at least your parents, wouldn't have even had a banana. The last people would have fought in World War II and ate the last bananas. So that is, and I hate that I'm about to say this, food for thought.
Council Bluffs hometown country. Bluffs Country 106.5.
The Baumgar's 80th anniversary celebration.
Yeah, I did. I said it. It's the worst joke ever. It's the dumbest show that ever existed. Deborah didn't know it got that hot in Nebraska. Yeah, man, and super humid. So, like, when I moved to California for that 1 year, which was an awful year, that 1 year I spent in California, they kept telling me, oh, you're from the Midwest? Welcome. Wait until you get to the summertime. They all talk like that. Wait until you get to the summertime, bro. See if you can survive. It gets to be 110 degrees here. I go, okay. What's the feels like temp? What's that mean? I mean, you're telling me it's 110 degrees outside, but like, what does it feel like? 115, 120? Feels like 110. Oh, so you don't have any humidity? Come to the Midwest when it's 85 with 60% humidity and tell me how hot it is. You could stand in California And I'm guessing Phoenix is much the same, all of Arizona, okay? Now, Phoenix will get to 120 actual temperature. That's still hot. I mean, that's hot, okay? But 110 is nothing to shake a stick at. Like, that's hot. It's hot, hot, hot. But you can stand, especially if you're from the Midwest, you can stand in direct sunlight on a 110-degree day and just have a fan blow on you, right? Perfect. You will be cooled instantly because you're not soaking. You're not soaking in the thickness of the atmosphere. God, I met a lot of great people out there, but I hated California. What's good with Velveeta cheese? Bananas or apples? Probably apples. Laid out every chance I got. Now it's like, give me air. I need air all day. I'm an air guy. Gotta have air. Mm-hmm. Yeah, did you know that about the banana? Did you learn something today? Yeah, don't tell me radio don't work. I don't want to hear it. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm back to print the stuff out. I like having a hard copy. All right, let's see here. Did I download the new one? I did. No, I did not. All right, here we go. Official Green Band trailer. That's what I was looking for.
I love you, Wade Wilson.
Oh, come on. So I can do right by someone else. And please don't make the super suit green. A superhero. You're a fighter. We can give you abilities most men only dream of. Make you a superhero. You just promise you'll do right by me, so I can do right by someone else.
There you go.
You're a fighter. We can give you abilities most men only dream of. Make you a superhero. You just promise you'll do right by me, so I can do right by someone else.
Okay. That's perfect. And we're set. Why Tom Selleck has vowed to never call his famous series Magnum P.I. What? Tom Selleck may be preparing for the end of Blue Bloods on the 2024 schedule, but the actor is looking back at a time on another series before Jay Hernandez took up the Thomas Magnum mantle. Didn't it end up being that it was the butler was that the rich guy in Magnum P.I.?
I never watched Magnum.
Magnum P.I. was just a slice of the 80s, dude. A lot of shows in the 80s were set in Hawaii. There had to have been some kind of like discount for shooting in Hawaii. Like now there's deep discounts for shooting like in the Atlanta area. Like Georgia gives kickbacks and stuff to the movie and TV industry so that they'll come down and film things there. So I wonder, it's got to be the same. Has to be the same. Let's get our Cookie-O's ready. My raccoons are destroying my hummingbird feeders. I'm glad you learned something today, Deborah. Yeah, that's crazy. I remember when I heard about that the Cavendish banana was like a new banana. What? Like the banana you eat is like just older than most of the people you run into. Because you figure what, 1950, my old man was born in 55 and he's 69. He'll be 69. So 55 more years than that, 74. I mean, what's the life expectancy? 76? Yeah, so the Cavendish banana is older than most of the people you know. Like the white gummy bear. Shout out Director of Sales for the company, Adam Dobbins, for scoring Nelson a Rain Total Body Fuel. He's also very handsome and powerful, and he can run fast. Magnum PI. The premise was Thomas Sullivan Magnum, a private investigator played by Tom Selleck, lives in the guest house of a 200-acre beachfront estate called Robin's Nest. How much is a two? What would the Magnum PI house be worth today? Let me see here. They destroyed it. The Robin's Nest. The original Magnum PI house was demolished. In 2014, the estate was listed for sale at $15.8 million. It sold for $8.7 million in 2015, which is when the plans to raise the sprawling property were formulated. The property, which has been used in other TV series, including, you guessed it, Hawaii Five-0, was reportedly in need of major repair. Just like on Magnum PI, where sleuths are always knee-deep in drama, the demolition of Robin's Nest raised some controversy, according to historic Hawaii Foundation. Hawaii. After news of the demolition was announced, the historic Hawaii Foundation was contacted by several members of the community with questions about how an iconic and historically significant property could be demolished without review. I felt the same way about was it the Golden Girls' house? No, it was Betty White's house. Why couldn't we, keep Betty White's house? You know? Did it really have to go? I feel like no. Anyway. Yeah, is Higgins really? Higgins is the estate manager for Robin Masters Beachfront Estate in Oahu. Oh, so, yep, it was. Higgins really was. Spoiler alert, Higgins really was Robin Masters. However, Higgins later recants at Rick's wedding. So just to keep you guessing. Tom Selleck. Even though Magnum PI is still big today with both the original series and the reboot, Selleck has vowed to never call the series its actual name. Why? He hated the show's title and noted that he will always shorten it when he talks about it. What's he call it? Magnum? But you are a private investigator. That was the whole show. Sometimes the show should tell you what you're getting. That's good branding. If you can get out in 2 letters the entire premise of a show, that's a win. Aaliyah, it's been a morning. That's all right. You would have had to sit and wait for the cam to fire up. There were some technical difficulties early on. We didn't fire up till about 7:30. They filmed a piece of Come Early Morning with Ashley Judd at my uncle's store. It was cool. Ashley Judd was a bitch. But Joey Lauren Adams, actress who played in movies with Adam Sandler, was great. They filmed a movie at my high school called Election with Reese Witherspoon.
Are you thinking about me?
Time for the top two.
What?
The top two.
What does that mean?
Two of the biggest stories happening right now.
Live on the scene to tell us what happened today.
It's the top two. Nelson in the morning on Bluffs Country 106.5.
Making you the star of the water cooler, this is the top two. And it could be that someone was worried about their pocketbook when she walked back her comments on Marvel.
You're a fighter. We can give you abilities most men only dream of. Make you a superhero. You just promise you'll do right by me, so I can do right by someone else.
Jamie Lee Curtis says bashing Marvel was stupid, and I will do better. She said she reached out to Kevin Feige and will no longer play in that mud-slinging sandbox. Apparently, she was at Comic-Con and did an interview with MTV, and she was asked to name the phrase, the Marvel Cinematic, one word to describe the Marvel Cinematic Universe right now. She said bad. Well, you know what? Until Deadpool and Wolverine came out and they made it a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Jamie Lee Curtis was not wrong. And I am an active consumer. I've watched almost all of the Marvel movies in theater. The only Marvel movies I've missed in theater and just in total have been in the last handful of movies. Like, I have yet to see the second one with Captain Marvel in it that had the team up. I watched part of it on Disney Plus, and it was okay. It was cool to see things, but the thing's going to run out of steam at some point. It has to, so that it can kind of die and be reborn again. She said, my comments about Marvel were stupid, and I will do better, she wrote in a statement on social media. I've reached out to Kevin Feige and will no longer play in that mud-slinging sandbox of a competition we call the internet. Nor will I engage in the toilet paper promotion or gameplay that's designed for clicks, not content. Sounds like she wants a job at Marvel, if we're being honest. She's seeing a lot of money getting doled out. She's seeing how they're bringing back Robert Downey Jr. again to play a different character, and she's going, I need to get in on this. Plus, she's also already she's comic book adjacent. She is, the whole reason she was at Comic-Con is because she's there to promote the video game adaptation of Borderlands. So she's a character in a video game movie that's trying to make the same run that Marvel is making at the movie theaters. So, yeah, Kevin Feige, give Jamie Lee Curtis a call. And also, isn't she, I can't hate on Jamie Lee Curtis. She's still a heartthrob to me, even in the Activia commercials. This story, among many stories, will just prove to you that just men are the dumbest when you get into the comment section on the internet. But a mayor has resigned recently for inappropriate relations.
Just days after resigning from office, the mayor of DeRidder out in Beauregard Parish has now been arrested.
Misty Roberts, 42, booked into Beauregard Parish Detention Center on charges of third-degree sexual assault and contributing to the delinquency of juveniles. Investigators interviewed two minors, one of whom was the alleged victim, and both confirmed Roberts had intercourse with one juvenile victim while employed as the mayor. My client learned late of last night of a warrant. She completely denies all of the charges. She initially stepped away from the office and said she would for 2 weeks, but she resigned the very next day. The mayor says, for nearly 15 years, my love and passion for DeRidder has been my foundation while serving as mayor. This role has rewarded me with many great relationships, and I'm humbled to have witnessed the hard work that took a community come together and overcome through unprecedented times. However, I must focus my priorities elsewhere. She turned herself into investigators without incident late last week, arrested and held on a $75,000 bond. That'll cost you $7,500 to get out of that. You got to post 10% to get out of a bond. But then you go into the comment section, and this is the part that just disgusts me. This is the part where you guarantee that these people that are commenting don't have kids. I'll tell you, I'll be the first one to tell you that I easily engaged in the, wish that was me. Man, if only I was so lucky. That's not the case, man. Have a kid. And I don't mean, it doesn't matter if it's a boy or a girl. As soon as you have, I've got a son. I've got an 8-year-old son. And yeah, did I want to date And did I want to smooch women and whatever when I was 15? Sure. But I could also easily be preyed upon by someone who was much older than me. And that's what that is. They are predators. But you go into the comments section, and first off, it's these letters to Penthouse, source, trust me, bro. Like this guy. When I was 15, I was a budding musician. I took voice lessons. My teacher was 24, an opera singer, and reasonably attractive. I thought I was imagining it, but she seemed to like me. We wrote letters back and forth. It was awesome. We had an affair together. That's assault, dude. A 24-year-old who's hooking up with a 15-year-old is assault. And it's time for us to stop making jokes like that. There's much better jokes that are out there for us to make other than the, God, where were these teachers at? Where were these mayors at when I was a kid? Hopefully in prison.
24/7 around the world, non-stop. This is Bluffs Country 106.5.
Let's take a look at your Bluffs Country weather. Gorgeous. That's the one word I would use to describe today. Next couple of days are going to be much the same. Really, the highest temperature we should see for the rest of the week is tomorrow, just over 80. 60s for the lows, 70s for the highs. Today included 77 for the high. And even the humidity has taken a break. Little breezy this morning. Expect sunshine throughout the rest of the day. Currently 64 degrees in the metro. And this look at your weather, well, it's brought to you by Oh Cookie O's. Experience Oh Cookie O's, a unique blend of soft cake donut and crispy cookie edges that are the ultimate gluten-free, high-protein, locally created cookie donut. Made inside the Hoff at the Kitchen Council in Council Bluffs and delivered right to your doorstep. They accept PayPal and Venmo. Oh, look, Oh Cookie O's is in the future. Order online right now at ohcookieos.com.
Are you an annoying coworker sending email?
Yeah, man, that just drives me nuts when I see comments like that. Like, thank you. Predators. And what I would do to, like, what I would want to do to a 24-year-old, I don't care what she looks like. You touch my kid, you're going to hope that the police find you before I do. And that's big talk. That's big, tough talk. I know. I don't advocate for violence. In most cases, I won't advocate for violence. But personally, your boy wouldn't have a problem seeing us expand capital punishment to some lesser crimes that weren't eye for an eye. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying, but I'm saying. You know what I mean? If one person today heard that and they say to themselves, oh, maybe that guy's got a point. I've done my job. You know? Because listen, I'm not a hero. Oh my God. I've been a piece of trash for a long time. You know what I mean? Like, just very, like, susceptible to what others said. You know, peer pressure and, like, groupthink. I didn't really start coming into my own until really my late 20s, early 30s. Right about the time I was about to get geared up to have kids of my own. And I mean, this covers a litany of topics. I don't just mean these stories. But I have fallen into that trap in the past that it's easy to joke about. You know, because honestly, there was no assault that was going on in my high school. I really, there weren't young teachers when I was a kid. So I don't know what happened. I don't know when it became cool, because what I've noticed is, yeah, at some point you're going to have to refresh the teaching population, right? So you figure all the teachers can't be 60, 70, 80 forever. You're going to have to get some new people in. But then I don't know, I guess I assumed that the next crop of people would then get up to 50, 60, 70, 80 before we replace them. But no, now there's a constant flow of 20-something teachers. And still, like I said, I've made that joke before. where were those teachers when I was a kid? But they definitely weren't assaulting me anyway. People were being flippant. No one was coming for me. Although they should have, I was very susceptible. I just mean like impressionable. I'm not wishing assault upon me. Again, just let a guy riff. Don't touch kids ever. Ever. The other people, this is connected, but it's more like a cousin to this topic is, I don't know how you can have a daughter and not champion for women's rights and not want women to succeed and be treated fairly. And I never got that. I never understood the perpetuating this like culture of keeping women down. Just how can you look in the eyes of your daughter and then be like, you know what? Women aren't that cool. Yeah, they really are. They really are, dude. Maybe the coolest. I said it. It's a bold statement. Nelson is pro-women. I am. It's still cool to be that. A teacher that was convicted of that? Like, I had a teacher that we all thought paid a little bit too much attention to the cheerleaders. I'm not going to say it, but God, what was his name? I can see his face. I don't think I already said the subject, so I'm not going to even say the subject. But yeah, I had a teacher that, yeah, you knew he was paying a little bit too much attention to when the cheerleaders came in, or the dance squad. You know, because by high school time, we had dance and cheer. No, I had I had an English teacher in junior high that had a milky eye, my guy. Like, these people were not young. But that's not to say that young people are the only people that are guilty of this either. It still just blows my mind when somebody who is in their 20s would hook up with somebody or want to hook up with somebody who was 14 and 15. And for whatever reason, whether it's right or wrong, it blows my mind even more when it's a woman. Women are supposed to be smarter than us, better than us. For the most part, predators are men. That's why I think that you get so much mileage out of a story when it is a woman. Because it's like scintillating. Like, how did this happen? I can't wrap my head around it either, Deborah. It's craziness. He was doing that too. Or Pretty Blonde. Any Pretty Blonde that walked in? Like, I just don't even look at people because I don't want people to, like, misconstrue me looking at them. Nope. Not at all. So oftentimes I'll miss cues. Like, I've been told on several occasions that people are flirting with me, and I'm like, they're not flirting with me. You're stupid. Ain't nobody flirting with me. Supposedly people flirt with me. I don't know. In fact, I saw something somewhere. What did it say? It was like, people with ADHD are so bad at picking up on romantic social cues that we often fall for the wrong people because it takes love bombing for us to figure out that someone is into us. I just thought I was oblivious. There's a 19-year-old wanting to date me. I keep saying no. That's another thing. 19, nothing wrong. I mean, nothing wrong morally or legally with hooking up with a 19-year-old. Couldn't even wrap my head around it. Wouldn't even, like, consider it. I was 39. I dated a 29-year-old, and the nickname I had for her with my friend group and, like, in the group chat was the kid. She was the kid. I had nothing that I related to with this 29-year-old. Now, that's not to say there are no 29-year-olds I could relate to, but specifically, this 29-year-old acted and thought like a kid and didn't have kids of her own and then wanted to, like, tell me how to parent. And I go, just pump the brakes. Just dial that all the way back. Do I need to mute myself? Why that? Did it say that yesterday too? Oh, really? I updated it yesterday. Jesus. This program it'll put a title into things, and it saves the last title that you add. So it showed up twice, but yesterday before I fired the cam, I updated all of them. It was clean on my screen, but I don't go and look at the actual Facebook page. Let me change. I can edit the title, so as it goes forward, I'm doing it now for both of them. Night is the night. I can't do anything about it on YouTube, but it doesn't matter. Stupid. That is a really fun jacket you're wearing, by the way. You see that with the collar and everything? It's like, yeah, she's got such style, dude. Like, I've not been a quarter of as stylish as Julie is in my entire life. Like, my style choices that I've made, Adam, are these stupid rings and this nose ring. That's it. But I did get a compliment on the nose ring at Firefly Festival. You know, so I felt like now, yeah. Yeah. Now I'm thinking about getting a mesh shirt and piercing my nips. I got little nips. I can't pierce them. Really? They're teeny tiny.
I would have never guessed that about you.
See me in a tight-fitting polo shirt. You'll know. And a decent size. I mean, like a normal human size. What do you call that? The area around it? Areola? Isn't that funny that that's the area around it and it's got area in the word? Did she just walk out? Yeah. That's the medical term. It's a normal size areola, but just a beep, like a pinhead. I'm not going to expose my nipple on the cam. See if you can see that. Do you see that? Oh, you can see it on the cam. See that? It's just a little pop. It's just a button. Pop. So it would have to be the world's smallest piercing. You're ridiculous. No more piercing. No, I'm not going to get any more piercings. No, I heard it takes 18 months for them to completely heal. I don't like people. It's too much information. Don't touch them. You know what I mean? On me. If you like it, fine. But just leave them alone on me. Here we go.
This is Nelson in the Morning on Bluffs Country 106.5.
Don't forget, Friday, 5:30, Bayless Park. Get there early as you're going to have an opportunity to get yourself a pair of passes to go to the Iowa State Fair. Supplies are limited. It's not going to cost you anything except a little bit of your time. And we've done it late. You got a chance to get off work, take a breath for a second. Maybe you get out of work early on Friday and you pop on down to downtown Council Bluffs and have yourself a cold beverage before you come over to Bayless. They got a bar here in Council Bluffs downtown. You can get a $2 Busch Light. What? How does it even make money? I bought the whole bar around because I felt like a big shot. It cost me like $18. The bar seemed practically full. So there's opportunities for you here if you haven't been to downtown Council Bluffs in a while. And that's where Bayless Park is located, and that's where your Thomas Rhett and Brett Young tickets are going to be waiting for you. And a picture of the butter cow. I can't bring the butter cow out, but I can make a butter cow out of sticks of butter, a mini one if you like. I've got some salted butter at home. And then you can know exactly what you're getting into when you go to the biggest fair in the country. That's the Iowa State Fair. 5:30, mark your calendars, Friday, after work, before you get into the weekend, be riding high as you join us to win yourself a pair of passes. As always, the Performance Digital Cam will live on the Facebook page, so if you missed out on some of it today, don't worry, you haven't missed out completely. Our boy Chuck Denver will be in shortly to take the reins. Before that, a long list of music for you to get you into your workday, including requested music from Mr. Dierks Bentley. How about Brad Paisley, Diamond Rio? When we say we're your hometown country station, playing the country music that you're looking for, that's no bull, and you better believe it. From the Gorilla Car Wash Studios, it's Nelson in the Morning on Bluffs Country 106.5.
I'm Penny Nelson. My name is Rowan Nelson. Thank you for listening to this show. Thanks for listening to the show. Have a good day and have an awesome day. I love you too.
No matter.
All right, everybody. I've lived in this state for 30 years and never been to the fair. May need to try it and go next year when I have a vehicle again. Amen. It's so far. Yeah, that's fair. What, an hour and a half or 2 hours to Des Moines? From the Council Bluffs side, I don't think it's 2 hours, is it? Bye, Tamika. Bye, everybody. Bye.